So today we're bringing back one of my favourite episodes from last season. It's time to pick a mid-season All-Pro team.
Look, it took every fibre in my body not to pick Drake May.
The thing that's crazy about Jackson Smith-Njigba is he has 99 more yards on the season than Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But yet he's run 110 less routes than Jamar Chase. So, which is insane. He's got over almost 100 yards receiving more, and he's run over 100 routes less. That is, what a season he is having.
Yeah, so I think he leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns, leads the NFL in rushing yards, and in the highest scoring offense. I think he's the most important player. As much as Indiana Jones has been fantastic, it's Jonathan Taylor's offense really, and he's been unbelievable.
He is the only player who was also in my team at this point last year, which is crazy. He's the only player that remained from half of the last year. And again, like, providing his injury got too bad, I expect him to be an All-Pro corner this year.
Everyone, Cecil Martin here.
Hey, this is Hunter Henry.
What's up, man? This is Max Crosby, part of Raider Nation.
Hey, this is Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman.
Hey, it's Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, this is Jerry Judah, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, and you're listening to the 14-Yard NFL Podcast.
Week 9 is here, which means we have reached the midway point of the 2025 NFL season. So today we're bringing back one of my favourite episodes from last season. It's time to pick a mid-season All-Pro team. You're listening to the Full 10 Yards NFL podcast. Welcome back if you're a regular listener. It's great to have you again. If you are new around here and this is your first time listening, we are a UK-based NFL podcast network of coverage ranging from team-specific podcasts to this podcast, our big show, which covers the league as a whole once a week. We really appreciate it if you could subscribe on your chosen platforms to any of these podcasts and leave us a review. It really does help us reach more potential football heads, especially in the UK as well. The media scene there is really growing at the moment, which is really good. I'm your host for today, Sam Moores, and joining me to pick the team of the season so far with 22 All-Pro players. One of our regular guests on the podcast is Andrew Gamboy, who actually joined to do this last year as well. So running it back, Andrew. Welcome back to the podcast. Looking forward to it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I enjoyed it last year. Enjoyed picking the team. It's kind of cool to see who kind of was our picks last year. Now to like compare to this year's performance, will be cool to get stuck into it. So yeah, obviously very excited to be back. Always love these kind of like All-Pro kind of picking the teams kind of midway through the season. Always a fun conversation for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's the teams that certainly our team that I've picked, other than the defense, hundreds on the offense. I've only got one player remaining from last year. So certainly, so a lot has changed in the last 12 months for sure. Alongside revealing that team of the season so far, we also finished the podcast by predicting all 14 games of Week 9 against the spread. I also give my 5 must-have players in your lineup for Fantasy Gameday's Week 9 Sunday Stars competition. I'll be doing that on my own later on. If you're new to the app, you can actually get a free £7.50 bet when you sign up with the code FULL10. That's FULL10. Yes, that's right. New users will get £7.50 in free bets put into their account after they deposit and enter their first lineup on the app after signing up with the code FULL10. Just remember to please gamble responsibly and only if you're 18 or over and based in the UK or Northern Ireland. Right, Andrew, let's get started with the episode. Going to the 2 All-Pro teams that you picked. As you're the guest, I've let you pick the offense. I'm going to go to the defense, and as always with the NFL, it always starts on offense. So you're going to go first here. Lots of options at quarterback. So many to choose from. This one of the biggest positions you could sort of in terms of like pool you could choose from, because so many players are in the MVP conversation right now. You've got your Matt Stafford, you've got your Patrick Mahomes, Sam Darnold, Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones. Drake May, another one. They all deserve to be up there right now. Which quarterback have you gone for?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting one because the MVP race, like you said, this kind of leads into that conversation. It's almost like it's so stacked. It's so level across the quarterback position that, I mean, we'll talk about it a bit later when we talk about some of the other positions, but they could even be creeping into the MVP conversation, right? Because it's almost like there's no runaway favorite at quarterback. I kind of whittled it down to 4 guys at the start. So like when you asked me to come back on the show and do this episode, which were Matthew Stafford, Drake May, Baker Mayfield, and Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna look. It took every fiber in my body not to pick Drake May. But I think things like the play last weekend against the Browns, right? Like where he throws that pick to the linebacker. He says after the game, he didn't even see the guy there. He kind of forgot that he could jump. I think was what he said about that pick. So like he still has that kind of boneheadedness, I guess, in him as much as he has these incredible plays downfield. For me, it kind of came down to Baker and Mahomes, really. I think they're the two guys. I've been on the show before and waxed lyrical about Baker Mayfield. I love that man, but I think I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes for this one. I think he's just been, the Chiefs' offense. They're looking really good now. With getting Rashee Rice back, getting Xavier Worthy back. Earlier in the season when they had guys down, he was playing really efficient football. Still threw a couple of picks early, but he's really ironed that out of his game. I think he's got 21 touchdowns, 4 picks on the season, over 2,000 yards already. So yeah, I can't go wrong with the 2-time MVP, and I think he's back playing. I think the last couple of years, the Chiefs have really been like a defensive team, right? Like they've really played elite defensive football, and the offense maybe has kind of lagged a bit, especially behind the early years of Mahomes. But it looks like they're kind of creeping back into this really offensive juggernaut, which is kind of scary for the rest of the league. So I can't go wrong with Patrick Mahomes, I think, as the quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, in terms of EPA, he is the highest EPA of all quarterbacks in the league right now. He's also leading the league in touchdown passes, shared that with Matt Stafford as well. So you absolutely cannot critique him. And again, he is the best quarterback in the league, and he has. There's no arguing that he's probably been one of the best, if not the best, this season as well. So, yeah, I cannot argue with you there. Right, running back. Now this conversation gets a little bit more interesting because you've got sort of 3 main guys, and then you've got a couple more. I'm assuming you're going for Jonathan Taylor at running back. Let's just say
it's going to have to be Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, as you said, there are some other names kind of in that conversation, but I think when you look at it, I think you can make a strong argument that Jonathan Taylor is the MVP. Like, I think you could really make that argument, like what I was saying before about how the quarterback playing field was almost so close that an exceptional running back performance, I think, has a chance of maybe sneaking in and snagging some votes in that regard. So, look, Jonathan Taylor's just been unbelievable. The Colts have obviously been this incredible high-scoring offense, historically high-scoring offense to this point of the season. I think. Look, he's got like 3 touchdowns in each of his last 3 games or something ludicrous.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I think he leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns, leads the NFL in rushing yards, and in the highest scoring offense. And I think he's the most important player. As much as Indiana Jones has been fantastic, it's Jonathan Taylor's offense really, and he's been unbelievable. So yeah, I went with JT.
Yeah, we're halfway through the year this year, and he's already got more touchdowns on the ground this year than they did the entirety of last year. So that just shows. And in fact, it's more touchdowns than in the last 3 seasons on the ground because he's had a couple 2 sort of incomplete seasons, you could say, there as well. And then like after contact as well, he's averaging 4 yards after contact. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Like 4 yards per carry, let alone 4 yards after contact. It's almost 6 yards per carry. Yeah, he is having an unbelievable season. And the idea, obviously, we'll come back to like the extra offensive player. There's room for an extra running back, an extra receiver, extra tight end. We'll go on to the receiver position now. There's 2 starting receivers, and then we'll go on to that later on. But I mean, again, at receiver, one standout guy. I'm assuming he's one of your 2 starting receivers.
Yeah, give me Jackson Smith and Jigba for sure as kind of wide receiver 1 on this team. He's had an unbelievable year. I think we kind of like he had a good year last year as well, but he was kind of the Seahawks offense was kind of not quite clicking, and there was a lot of mouth to feed as well. But now JSN's kind of really emerged as the guy. Adding another kind of like gemstone to that this Thanos kind of infinity gauntlet that is Ohio State's wide receivers, in the NFL. He's kind of emerged as one of these top tier guys. He's just been unbelievable this year, and Sam Darnold has really done well to hit him as regularly as he does. So yeah, I when I was kind of going through this and making my list of players, he was first name down. So I think he has to be on that. Look, that second pick is a bit harder to choose. I think I've kind of got 3 names kind of circling around there. I got Jamar, Puka, and George Pickens. I got for as well because I think like with CD going down as well, I think, you know, that Dallas passing offense, I think is like the best in the league or leads the league in yards per game. And Pickens has really opened that up, especially as a deep boy. He makes like 2 or 3 ridiculous plays every game. So I kind of wanted to sneak him in there, but and Puka, I think pre-injury was on track to be wide receiver 1 in this league. I think he was playing at a phenomenal level. You know, putting up really stupid numbers, like well over 100 yards per game. I think I'm just gonna have to go Jamar. I think the way that he still remains that elite downfield option, no matter who is throwing the ball, is just ludicrous. I think it's a toss up really between any of those guys. If you had another name, I'm sure you could talk me into putting him there as well. But I think I've gone with Smith and Jigba and Jamar Chase.
Yeah, these two guys do lead the NFL in receiving at 1 and 2. The thing that's crazy about Jackson Smith and Jigba is he has 99 more yards on the season than Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
But yet he's run 110 less routes than Jamar Chase. So which is insane. He's got over almost 100 yards receiving more, and he's run over 100 routes less. That is, what a season he is having. Yeah. You just can't really critique him at all. He's 12 yards average depth per target. He's a lot of these balls are downfield as well. It's like he has been the best receiver in football this season, by far. And then Jamar Chase as well. I mean, he's done a bit of a different element of his game. 356 yards after the catch with Jamar Chase, not this year. Again, that leads the NFL. He's a lot of the time he's known as a go up and get it guy. Well, he's shown a bit of everything this year, which is good. And again, these two guys are up there in target share. They're 1 and 2 in target share as well. They're in targets per route run. Like these guys are the class of the NFL right now. And there's plenty of guys around the position as well that we'll talk about later on. At tight end, this one's an interesting one because there's been lots of fun tight ends this year. Travis Kelce's back in the mix. You've got your Tyler Warrens, you've got your Tucker Crafts. Who have you gone for as your all-pro tight end so far?
Look, I love me some Tucker Craft. He has been carrying a couple of my fantasy teams
Nice.
so far. He's just really an elite player, and we saw that on Sunday Night Football as well. Look, last year I went with a rookie tight end in Brock Bowers. Unfortunately, obviously, he's had a bit of an injury hit campaign so far. I'm gonna have to go back to the rookie class. I think Tyler Warren has just been. He's added a real layer to this Colts offense, which now looks, maybe at the start of the season, we might have said, their air attack, with Daniel Jones at quarterback, with Michael Pittman, who obviously he's a great player, but did we think he was that wide receiver 1 kind of guy? But then when you add a weapon like Tyler Warren to that offense, it really opens up the rest of the guys, and it opens up this kind of security blanket, I guess, for Daniel Jones. And I think Tyler Warren's just done that. He feels like he gets open ridiculous amount. He's a big guy. He's fast. He's a huge target in the end zone as well. So I think I've gone with Tyler Warren for that one. We've gone back-to-back rookies in consecutive years.
Yeah, that's so cool. That again, it's like National Tight End Day was last weekend, and you saw so many tight ends catch touchdowns last week, which was so cool. Warren, he's had 3 on the year. He leads the league in receiving yards in terms of tight ends as well. And again, it's just him as a rookie. Imagine how good he will get in future years. It's like, again, to be an All-Pro as a rookie is a really, really impressive achievement. Right, one final skill position player. You can obviously choose between a receiver, a running back, a tight end. Who is your final skill player as an All-Pro?
Like I kind of said earlier in that receiver conversation, was really leaning towards Puka or Pickens, just one of those two guys. I think they've had incredible years. The Puka, the injury was really, really tough because obviously he was phenomenal before. Christian McCaffrey though, put him in that flex position. I think he's still he's projected like 1,000 yards receiving and on the ground, which is absolutely insane. He has obviously had a few injury hit campaigns in recent years. Injury hit last year, obviously, with those Achilles kind of issues. That looks to be a thing of the past, which is kind of crazy because I think there was a lot of anxiety heading into this year about whether he was going to be able to be that player again. Thankfully for Kyle Shanahan, who we know likes to feed him and likes to kind of make him the centerpiece of that offense. Christian McCaffrey is back cooking, and I think he's been the standout player, especially with Brock Purdy going down. Like obviously, Mac Jones deserves his flowers for how he's kind of piloted that offense in Purdy's absence, but Christian McCaffrey is absolutely the MVP of the 49ers. I think he deserves. It's crazy that he's having this good a season, and it's still pretty clear that Jonathan Taylor is running back one, in my mind anyway. Like that is crazy because Chris McCaffrey is having a ridiculous season. It's kind of just going a little bit under the radar, but not for us. We're putting him in at the flex.
No, I agree with you. I would have at least considered it, if not put him in too. I think, I mean, he has 559 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns total, obviously over 1,000 yards total on the year as well, which is crazy through 8 weeks. Receptions, 56 receptions a game, which is more than most receivers. His target share, he's the highest targeted player on the Niners in terms of the league. I think he's like, if you put in like receivers and tight ends, I think he's like 20th or so in terms of like total targets in the league. Target share, and that's crazy because again he's a running back. It's just it is insane. He's got almost 20 more receptions than the next guy, Devon Achane. He's got 37 at the running back position. Yeah, it's just a crazy player. And again, because of the injuries and everything, and because the Niners have had Matt Jones and not really getting the flowers that I feel like McCaffrey deserves, because again he has a stellar season so far. Right. Again, a couple of guys that you haven't mentioned that narrow shots, I'm sure you consider as well. James Cook, who had a great game last week. Again, he's up there as well. Bijan Robinson again, he's up there. We sort of mentioned a big three, sort of unlucky to miss out because they only have 2 running backs really. And then like you said, Puka Nacua, Travis Kelce, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert as well. He's got 7 touchdowns. Those guys have all had great seasons.
For sure. Amon-Ra St. Brown as well, the receiver.
Yeah, Amon-Ra, 7 touchdowns. He leads all receivers and touchdowns as well. So yeah, he's an excellent season. Right, let's go on to the offensive line now. This is an interesting one because obviously before the year it would be, the Eagles are the best offensive line in the league, but that's not really been the case this year. So yeah, certainly some different guys to choose from. We'll start with your left tackle. Who have you gone for at left tackle?
Tough one. I think, like I was saying before the show, I'm not a massive. I can't say I'm an offensive line guru, but I think when I was looking at some of the stats beforehand in terms of how clean they keep the pocket and things like that, it really is kind of the guys that you would expect based on how they're playing. I've gone with Garrett Bowles as left tackle. I think Bo Nix hasn't had a great season, but he's really he still has that clean pocket. Throughout, I think the Broncos line in general has been pretty strong. So I think last year I think I went Jordan Mailata, but like you said, the Eagles line has been noticeably off the pace this year, certainly compared to previous years. So yeah, I went with Garrett Bowles at left tackle. I think PFF had him 3rd overall in tackles, but I think he's had a sublime season so far, and he's keeping Bo Nix upright to try and make plays.
Yeah, he's certainly a great player. Again, other guys you could have had there, Trent Williams, he's had a good season. Dion Dawkins of the Bills as well, he's really come on the last couple of years. And Laramie Tunsil had a decent season since coming over to Washington as well. Left guard, and this is an interesting one. You've got 2 really, really good left guards here. I'm assuming you've gone for Quentin Nelson.
I've gone with Quentin Nelson, yeah. I think did I go with him last year as well? I think I did. I went Joe Tooney.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's obviously those are the 2 you could choose. I had Tooney written down as the other guy as well, so between the 2 of them. But I mean, look, I feel like he's been in plenty of All-Pro teams. Quentin Nelson, and again this year the Colts, despite losing 3 starters, I think on the offensive line, they've been mega.
100%, and that's we know the game of football, right? Like this is the running game is only as good as the offensive line. We see that with Saquon this year in the Eagles offensive line. So the Indianapolis Colts, the offensive line certainly deserve their flowers. I think Quentin Nelson's been one of the best lineman players really in the league since he arrived, and he's back probably playing the best ball of his career so far. So yeah, I feel like I had to. It was close with Tooney. Obviously, I chose him last year, but yeah, I think we went with Quentin Nelson this time around. I just think he's an absolute monster in the trenches.
Awesome. Let's go over to centre now. There's one guy I feel like gets All-Pro center every year. He's very, very, very good. And Creed Humphrey, have you gone for him again?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's a ludicrous player. I mean, he kind of just come in. This is these are the type of picks that good franchises make, right? Like time and time again. So the Chiefs kind of slotting in this kind of all-pro guy from day one. You know, he's already got 2 Super Bowls under his belt. He's looking like he's going to get more, looking at the way that the Chiefs are playing and how they're looking going forward. Yeah, I don't think he's given up a sack this year. I think, is he the most reliable offensive lineman in the league? You could make a strong argument. So yeah, I think we're going to go with Creed Humphrey, who I went with last year. So there you go. He's back to back.
Yeah, again, he's the third highest graded offensive lineman in total of PFF, let alone in center position. He's been brilliant this year, as he always been. Both in the run game and in the pass game as well. Can't really disagree with you there at all. Right guard. Now this one's interesting because you've got a couple new guys in there. You've got Trey Smith of the Chiefs as well. We had this conversation before. We were saying lots of Chiefs, lots of Colts on the offensive line. Have you gone for another one of those 2 teams, or have you gone for a different guy?
No, we've gone with Trey Smith. I think, like again, he was one of those guys who earlier in the season, I had that narrative of, could he get traded? Because we didn't know how his future was going to look like. The Chiefs were pushing the cap. There were lots of rumors going around. I think Patriots fans were licking their lips at the idea of getting Trey Smith in with all that cap space, but obviously the Chiefs managed to get it done. This is what good teams do. You've got to build once you've got the quarterback, or even before you get the quarterback, you build that offensive line. Because again, like the offense can only play as well as you protect the quarterback and keep that kind of the backfield clean. And look, Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, that's one of the best interior line tandems in the league easily. So yeah, give me Trey Smith this year. I mean he was fantastic last year, but I think he's playing at an even higher rate this year, and that's allowing Patrick Mahomes to thrive.
Yeah, he's one of only 12 guards to not have allowed to sack this year. That have played like over 50% of the snaps. He's also not been penalised this year as well, so he's playing good, clean football. And most of those guys that haven't allowed a sack have had 1 or 2 penalties, and only Smith and Joel Petonio haven't got a penalty either. So yeah, he's certainly having a great season. And the right tackle, plenty of choice here. Who have you gone for at right tackle?
Plenty of choice here. This one was, I don't know if this one's kind of me leaning towards kind of the guys that I know, but I've gone back to back with Penei Sewell, man. That man, he's just an absolute monster. I feel like he's one of those linemen where you watch it and he just passes the eye test. Like he just dominates. I feel like every time I watch the Lions play. So he's retained his place in the All-Pro team this year. I think, I don't know if we saw that clip from the other day of him running downfield with Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's just like almost keeping up with Gibbs. It was kind of insane. He actually didn't make the block. Like I think the NFL did this crazy clip, and they were like, "Look at Sewell going downfield," and obviously it was amazing, but he actually doesn't get the block, which would have been the touchdown for Gibbs. But I think Sewell almost got kind of in his mind, he was just like, "Look how fast I'm going!" Like, wow, and then just kind of actually let the play. But regardless, I mean, look, the plays he is making, he's allowing Jared Goff, who isn't the most mobile quarterback, right? So that offensive line for the Lions is super important to how well they play and how well that system operates. And the Lions still look like one of the best offenses in the league, even with Ben Johnson gone in division, of course. So yeah, I like Penei Sewell, the right tackle. He's a perennial kind of all-pro contender, right? Like we kind of knew that was kind of his projection, I guess, when he came into the league in 2021, and it's really lived up to the billing.
Yeah, he's an excellent season. He is PFF's number 1 graded offensive lineman, so across all 5 positions, not allowed to sack, only the 1 QB hit, only the 6 pressures. You really, really cannot complain at that. Yeah, absolute monster. And again, he a franchise setter. It was Dan Campbell's first draft pick as head coach, and they really set the tone drafting him. And yeah, that team are just physical as. Some guys you didn't mention that you could have had, I think, have played excellent seasons. Tanner Bortolini, center for the Colts. Matt Goncalves, the center. Right guard for the Colts. Quinn Miners, obviously you mentioned Garrett Belsner, Broncos offensive lineman. Quinn Miners in there as well. And another Colt in Bernard Ryman at right tackle, and then Colton McKivitz of the Niners as well as Trent Williams. Those two tackles have been pretty good for the Niners
sure.
as well so far this year. Right, let's go over to the defense now. We'll start with the edge rusher position. This was the hardest one of them all because there are so many good pass rushers in this league, so many elite pass rushers of this league. And yeah, I've chosen two guys who are causing absolute chaos at the line of scrimmage rather than the two who have the most sacks. Have a guess who I've gone for. I want to know if you can get both of them.
Wait, so you haven't gone necessarily with sacks with disruption?
Yeah.
I feel like. Sorry, but is this the edge? Is that off the edge?
Yeah.
I'll go with Nick Benito.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go with. I feel like you've given me a clue by not saying that it's a sack, but I feel like I'm gonna just say. Who am I not thinking of? I'm just I've got nightmares of Myles Garrett in my brain after watching him sack Drake May 5 times on Sunday. I'll go Myles Garrett and Nick Benito.
So those are the two guys that are leading the league in sacks as well as Brian Burns. I've not gone for them, but again, they fully deserve to be there. I've gone for Aiden Hutchinson and Will Anderson of the Texans. Hutchinson, so that's it. Will Anderson.
He's had a sublime season. Will Anderson, that's the guy I couldn't quite picture. Yeah, for sure. No, he's a great pick.
Yeah. Hutchinson, he leads the league in pressures, 48. He also leads the NFL in forced fumbles as well with 4. He has 13 QB hits, which is right up there when you consider the fact that he's played one less game than everyone else because the Lions have had their bye. He's averaging 1.85 QB hits a game. So he probably is the most fit pass rusher in the league, I'd say, in Hutchinson, especially with the way he can get that ball out on the strip sack as well. And then, Anderson, he is the highest pass rush win rate in the NFL right now, 29%. Only 3 guys are above 25%. There's Anderson, Hutchinson, and then the other guy is Myles Garrett. So again, Garrett has been really good this year as well. But I've gone for Anderson over Garrett because I think because of that game you're referencing just then on Sunday, that obviously the 5 sacks. If you take away those 5 sacks, I feel like they're on a par. Yeah. Anderson's got the better win rate, so I have gone with Anderson. But again, you could easily pick Myles Garrett here. He obviously had 5 sacks against the Patriots last week.
He's just sitting.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Yeah, just completely kill the Patriots offensive line, which has been good in this season as well, which is just crazy. And Will Campbell's been great, and then just got absolutely killed this week. PFF have a metric called pass rushing productivity. It's like combined sacks, hits, hurries relative to how many times they rushed the passer. Only Nick Benito has a higher PRP than Will Anderson as well. But again, I've gone for Anderson because his win rate is nearly double Benito's, despite the fact that Benito has so many sacks. Benito's been really good at getting these sacks, but in terms of causing chaos, it's been Will Anderson. Second most dominant pass rusher at the line of scrimmage behind Aiden Hutchinson. I think these two guys, for me, are my two guys. They lead the league with 33 and 32 hurries. Again, despite playing 1 fewer game than Benito and Garrett as well. So these two guys for me. And then look, you could have Jared Verse in there. You could have Brian Burns in there as well. Again, Byron Young is opposite Verse for the Rams, and then there are some other guys as well. But those two guys have been playing to another level this year, I think, and just cause chaos. And that's the thing. Obviously, Will Anderson's got a touchdown, fumble recovery touchdown as well in there.
For sure.
Just those two. I think those two defensive lines, the Texans and the Lions, are 2 of the best in the league. I've gone for those two guys. Defensive tackle. That for me now, there are 2 guys that really pop out on the stat sheet for me. First up, I've gone for Zach Allen of the Broncos. He was an honourable mention for me last year, and he's continued his top play into this year. He leads the NFL in QB hits, so not just defensive tackles, the entire NFL in QB hits of 22, 5 more than any other player. That is insane. You've got to reward that. He has 31 pressures, which again is more than most edge rushers. That's right out there. The Hutchinsons, the Andersons. That is crazy. From the inside. He's had a sack in each of his last 4 games as well. Which is going to talking about recency bias. If you have 4 striker for game that's gonna be good. And I get he's not been the best against the run, which is why my next guy's really good against the run. But this is one of the best pass rushers in football, period, and he's a defensive tackle, so he deserves his props. And he's also got his hands up to deflect 3 passes as well. That's such a big element of the defensive tackle position, getting your hands up there and trying to deflect a quarterback pass. To have 3 of those already this year, he is the dude. And then my second guy, Jeffrey Simmons. He is the perfect defensive lineman. Dominant both getting to the quarterback, he's dominant in the run game as well. He's producing so many splash plays despite being like the only guy alongside Devondre Sweat. But like Simmons is the guy on that offense or that defensive line. He's getting so many splash plays. Like imagine how good he'd be if he was in if he had an Aiden Hutchinson taking attention away from him. Simmons gets all the attention. He's playing so well. Only Quinnen Williams and Byron Murphy have had more defensive stops than Simmons so far this year. He's also the highest graded pass rushing defensive tackle as well in the league, according to PFF, with 5 sacks and 16 hurries as well this season. So it's hardly surprised that he is the only guy that the Titans don't want to trade besides Cam Ward, because this guy is one of the best players in football. And again, he's picked up an injury for a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens in terms of this week, but he'll be back soon, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him if he doesn't miss too much time in the full All-Pro team as well, because he's been mega so far this year.
I think as well, because he's I was kind of surprised, I guess, not to hear his name at least a little bit more in kind of like trade circles, right? Because with the Titans, I mean, like you said, like they consider him obviously somewhat untouchable as he should be. You kind of forget that he's only 28. I feel like he's been in the league for so long. And I guess that's why he's kind of considered untouchable, because even though he has kind of the contracts and stuff, and the Titans obviously in full rebuild, you'd think that he could be on the market for the right price. And I think teams that want to upgrade that defense, I mean, he would be a prime candidate to look at. But yeah, like you said, he's all world at that position. And he's playing the best football of his career. Had a great season so far. So hopefully he gets back to the field soon.
Yeah, 2 guys I want to mention, or 3 guys I could say. I mentioned Quinnen Williams and Byron Murphy earlier on, but those 2 guys I seriously weighed up putting both of those guys in here as well. Williams has the highest run stuff percentage in the league this year. I feel like no one's really talking about Quinnen Williams, but he's been really good. And then I mean, Byron Murphy said the second he's gonna be the next Aaron Donald. Like he's gonna be a serious player. Like he's so good. He's already up there in his only his second season. Like he's been really, really good this year. We were talking about him last week, and he is going to be really good. So he's just missed out. And then the only guy I've not mentioned is Poona Ford of the Rams. They brought in him to try and stop the run, and the Rams have been really good against the run so far this year. So he deserves his props as well. Right, linebackers. Again, this one kind of easier because you've got 2 guys that have just stood out so high on the stat sheet again. Again, also these 2 guys have made splash plays like all over the field. My first linebacker is Jack Campbell, the Lions.
For sure.
He has been an absolute beast in the run game, Andrew. Like he's been so good. His average depth of tackle is around 2.5 yards. So most running backs are not getting past that for him, which is crazy. Most linebackers are around like the 3 to 4 yard range. In that, so the fact he's there at 2.5, he's been crazy.
And remember when they drafted him, in 2023 there was a lot of talk about whether they had overshot, right? Because he was kind of not a name that was necessarily that high up, and the Lions went for him. Obviously, he embodies that culture of kind of playing really physical defense that Dan Campbell really likes to present. And he's lived up to billing, right? Like he's out there, I think he's got 2 forced fumbles. He's one of the guys that can make those plays, can punch the ball out. I think he's been one of the standout defensive players of the year so far.
And that was a draft where the Lions were criticised because they spent their 2 first-round picks on a running back and a linebacker, which is where the majority of the league feels they can get value in like the 3rd, 4th round. For sure. So that was, but again, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell have truly paid out for the Lions. And again, just setting the tone with their draft picks. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, so fair play to them. Yeah, Campbell, of the 58 most played linebackers, only 4 guys haven't missed a tackle. Like Campbell was one of them, so he's not missed a tackle all year. He's just outside the top 5 in run stop percentage as well, so he's been reliable, so reliable there. So there's no surprise. He's PFF's highest grade linebacker against the run. And again, you mentioned 2 fumbles. He's also had 3 sacks as well. Like, yeah, he's been on fire.
Monster.
And then the other guy, Devin Lloyd of the Jags. Again, he's tied for the league in interceptions. He's been a solid player for a couple of years now. Obviously, he again is a first round pick, like Jack Campbell, another linebacker. It's rare you see a linebacker drafted in the first round. Devin Lloyd was another one of those guys. They've used him sort of around the field, several different spots over the last couple of years. But yeah, he's transformed under the new DC Anthony Campanile, who again he was like behind the turnovers in Green Bay so many last year, and then before that with Brian Flores in Miami as well. Like, this guy knows how to play winning football and defense. 4 interceptions so far this year in the 6 games he's played, including that 99-yard pick 6 against the Chiefs. He's also had a fumble recovery, 4 QB hits. He's been really good in the run game too. Maybe the league is starting to change its mind over the value of a linebacker when you see guys like Fred Warner. Obviously, he wasn't a first-round pick, but when you see guys like him playing to this level, when obviously it's a shame that we've lost him for the season now. When you see guys like Devin Lloyd and Jack Campbell playing so well, maybe it is changing, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the league's always changing. There are always trends that come in. We're starting to see the running back position, a position that was really criticized, not criticized, but like really critiqued over the last few years in terms of can you get value? Should we pay the running backs? We see that. And then now we're seeing this crazy resurgence where, yeah, you should be paying these running backs because they are, such an important piece of the offense. And now we're getting that as well with the linebacker position as well. These guys could transform units entirely. I mean, Devin Lloyd and that Jags defense, I think, has played at an exceptional level so far. He's really the heart of that. I mean, 4 interceptions, like tied for the league. It is absolutely ludicrous behavior. And the pick 6 is one of the highlights of the season so far. So yeah, absolutely no issue. I think, like you said, Jack Hamill and Devin Lloyd really stand out as the 2 kind of elite linebackers so far this season.
Yeah, as for honourable mentions, I have to throw Jihad Campbell in there, the Eagles linebacker, obviously rookie. He's having a great rookie season, particularly in coverage. Tremaine Edmonds as well, he's produced 3 interceptions, he's always been solid. And then the 2 Falcons guys, Divine Diablo and Caden Ellis as well, they've been really good. And then Boy Wagner, as always. Always. Yeah. Right, we'll go on to the secondary now, where I have my final 5 players. I'll start with my 3 corners. Again, like the edge rusher position, I think these guys really hard to choose from. There's
for sure
lots of honourable mentions here, but I'll start on my 2 starting outside corners. First, my number 1 guy is Jamel Dean of the Bucks. He is the best passer rating allowed of all corners with at least 100 snaps at just 30.2. He's allowing a completion of just 48% of his targeted snaps as well, which is 7th best in the league. He's also tied for the most interceptions among corners with JC Horn of the Panthers. They both have 3. And then one of his 3 interceptions went for a pick 6 as well. He's also had 2 fumbles, 6 pass breakups in the season. This guy's been playing at another level. Like, the Bucks defense has been such a nice surprise this year.
For sure.
And yeah, Jamel Dean's been a real reason for that, and he's also really good against the run as well. He's not missed a tackle all year as well, so he is like the perfect corner. And then my second corner is the perfect corner, is Patrick Surtain. Obviously, of course, he's just been injured, but it doesn't sound like that's too bad again. So again, he might be there at the end of the year as well when he comes back. Obviously, the reigning defensive player of the year. He is the only player who is also in my team at this point last year, which is crazy. He's the only player that's remained from halfway through last year. And again, like, providing his injury is not too bad, I expect him to be an All-Pro corner this year, without a doubt. Like Dean, he is around the 50% completion mark. Is most corners around the 60-70 mark. He's one of just 17 players allowing in 10 yards per reception as well. He has 8 pass breakups in the season as well, second among corners behind DJ Turner of the Bengals. Patrick Surtain is just such a good player. And then my slot corner is someone who might come as a bit of a surprise. I've gone for a guy called Quentin Lake of the Rams. Some of you might not have heard of him yet, but by the time the playoffs come, you will, because he's just around the ball like all the time. He's like the Rams version of Kyle Hamilton. He's just that Swiss Army knife. They use him everywhere, but mainly in the slot, which is why I put him here. He has an interception, he has a sack, he has 6 pressures, he has a forced fumble, he has 2 batted down passes at the line of scrimmage, so they're using him to rush the passer. 7 pass breakups as well, which is only less than Dundee Turner, Patrick Satan, and Keyshawn Nixon. He's a great tackler too. Like this guy is a guy to watch out for. And then as for honourable mentions, I've got loads. I mentioned DJ Turner, the Bengals. He's been really good so far this season. Christian Gonzalez, obviously, Patriots fan, you know how valuable he is to your team. And then Rasul Douglas of Miami has also had a pretty decent season, with Trent McDuffie and Jordan Lewis being my 2 sort of backup options in the slot as well. Yeah, a lot of great names you wouldn't really expect to have in the cornerback position, except from Patrick Santana, of course. But so many new guys, so much fresh talent here, right?
Yeah, for sure, and it's always cool. I mean, I feel like this kind of happens every year. The cornerback position is so difficult, I think, to play at a high level so consistently. That's why I think like players like Pat Satan and Trent McDuffie to an extent as well. Like it's so impressive that these guys are in these conversations year in year out. Christian Gonzalez as well, obviously had a great year last year.
But so if he played more games, he would be on there.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, he missed the first like 2 or 3 games, right? So he had a bit of a slower start in terms of actually just getting out onto the field. But when he plays, I mean, he's phenomenal. I mean, he was so good against the Buffalo Bills, which was the obviously the banner win for the Patriots this year. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints. I'll give a shout out as well to Brownlee. I think on the Jets. I think he's been he's made plays, and I think the Jets defense has really started to come alive last 3 or 4 weeks. Just need the offense to get going a little bit more, but the defense has played at a really good level, which I think has been really encouraging to see for Jets fans. And he was a big reason why. Again, like another trade from the Titans. Obviously you want to get kind of returns back for players, but he looks like a great player, and I think they only traded him for like a 6th or something outrageous. So I think that looks like good value for the Jets. So just wanted to shout him out.
Yeah, he's been playing great, for sure. And then finish off my 2 safeties. Again, so many guys who have had top seasons, so much so that the 2 biggest names were actually my 2 honourable mentions. My first All-Pro safety for the season so far this year is Jaden Petrie of the Texans.
Yeah.
Again, it's hard to ignore a guy who's had 3 interceptions, and he plays in what I think is the best defense in the NFL, in the Texans defense. Shame about their offense, but again, last week they turned it on, so maybe they'll come back and cook the second half of the season. Again, he's another hybrid guy in the same molds as the Kyle Hamiltons, the Quentin Lakes, but I've put him as a safety because he pretty much has like double the box snaps that Lake has, so he is more of a safety. Only Kyle Hamilton has a better PFF pass coverage grade than Petrie among all safeties. He's also a force in the run game as well. He's the 9th best run stop percentage. He's also sent to blitz on occasion as well. He's got 6 pressures, which again only 4 safeties have more than that. Antoine Winfield, Derwin James, Trayvon Merrick, and Jaquan Brisker. He again 3 interceptions, great defense, and he's in top of the stat sheet. I could not put Jaden Petrie on here. And then my deep safety, whilst I let the other 2 guys do their thing, I've gone for Cam Bynum of the Colts. We were talking about him last week. I had Charlie Wilson on the podcast last week, and we were talking about how vital he was to Brian Flores' defense. And we saw that on Thursday night, how different that defense is now compared to what it was a year ago. We saw just how much they missed him last week, and he's one of the most reliable safeties in coverage. Like he is the best pass rating allowed among safeties who have played at least 300 snaps, which is about 50%. That's really good. And then about 50% of safety, yes, a pass rating of 46.9 when targeting. And to put that into perspective, Kevin Byard, who had 4 interceptions at safety, his passer rating is over 100. So it's not just the interceptions that have made this passer rating. Like he has been excellent all season, Cam Bynum. He has got 2 picks, so obviously less than Byard, but he's been so much better in coverage. Again, I imagine what his rating would be with 4 interceptions like Byard has. Like, this guy has been incredible. So yeah, shout out to Cam Bynum. 5 pass breakups as well, and again, he's one of those clean players. A lot of my guys I've picked here haven't missed a tackle. Cam Bynum is another one of those players that just hasn't missed a tackle at all this season so far as well. So yeah, and then I mean, these 2 guys have been so good that they've beaten the likes of Kyle Hamilton and Derwin James in there as well. Like, again, it's just nice to see variety, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, there is really a group of guys who play at a consistently high level year in, year out. The two names you just mentioned, Antoine Winfield as well, has really been one of the best safeties in the league since he came in as a rookie. So it's cool to see, especially someone like Cam Bynum. I think he obviously he was allowed to leave in free agency, and signs with the Colts and kind of picks up where he left off. It at an even higher level with the Colts, kind of adding to that team. Obviously there's all the talk about the offense, but the defense is playing at a great level as well, and really having some standout performances like Bynum. I think Jalen Petre. I mean, he's had an unbelievable season. Like you said, he's this hybrid guy. He really does just do it. He really just does it all. It's kind of crazy that he is almost out not outplay. Well, I mean, he is technically outplaying, I guess, if he's making the All-Pro team. But I mean, in that secondary, which already has several elite players. Derek Stingley, who's unbelievable, Lassiter as well, and you get this guy Petre who's playing better than all of them. I mean, that like you said, I think that Texas defense is the best in the league. I mean, Will Anderson anchoring that. It's a phenomenal group of guys. So and Petre's kind of form is really playing into that.
Next up is DFS Stars, which is our weekly daily fantasy segment brought to you by partners for the podcast, Fantasy Gameday, the UK's dedicated daily fantasy app. Week 9 looks to have some brilliant games, which I thought we'd have last week, but last week's slate was terrible. So it's not always the case. You have some brilliant games. This week there are some great games, so I can't wait to give you my picks for this week's Sunday Stars competition. But before that, let's see how my 5 DFS Stars from last week got on. In short, last week was just terrible. It really was. It was a shame because we were really starting to get some momentum there and we're finding the right players to win some money. We've gone from my best week of the season to one of my worst ones, and the main reason for that was Bijan Robinson at captain because, I picked him to my captain last week, obviously, which is the player that gets all points. And I picked him because he was going against the league's worst run defense at the time in the Dolphins. But somehow the Dolphins defense played their best game of the season by far. They limited Bijan to 25 yards from 9 carries. They forced him to fumble as well. And he wasn't much better at catching the ball either. So, he disappointed, which is a shame because there were some really good picks among my DFS Stars last week. I mean, Joe Flacco was a great pick. He really was. He was a 14th most expensive quarterback on Sunday, just 5,800. But he ended up scoring 24.32 points. After a 3-touchdown day, obviously had 2 in the area, the QB sneak as well. He was a 4th highest scoring quarterback on Sunday, Joe Flacco. So that was a great pick, which is obviously a shame that Robinson was bad. Again, Breece Hall, another success. Like I mentioned last week, he was surprisingly on for a career year, and he had his best day of the season so far last week as well, 133 yards on the ground, his first 2 touchdowns of the year as well. He was the 4th best runner back on Sunday, so he was a steal at 5,600. Zay Flowers as well, he was decent value. He pulled in 7 of his 9 targets for 63 yards as well, so he scored 14.1 points, which is about what I thought he'd get. Bijan Robinson was terrible, and then, for me anyway, he's not a total player, but and then Jake Ferguson on the other hand was to Flowers was again a major bust. So 3 good ones, 2 bad ones. Ferguson didn't record a single catch after scoring 6 touchdowns in 4 games. If you, listener, are sat there fancying having a go on the Fantasy Gameday app, new users can actually get a free £7.50 game entry if you sign up to Fantasy Gameday with the code FULL10. That's right, new users can get that free game credit added to their account or they enter their first lineup on the app, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Right, here are my 5 players that you need to have in your daily fantasy lineup on Fantasy Gameday this Sunday. As always, I'll start with my pick for a captain, which is the player in your lineup that gets double points. And my captain for the week is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't really like the matchups that a big 3 running backs have this week, so I'm going for a receiver for my captain this week. For a change, I've not done that for a few weeks. It was a toss-up between Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamar Chase, and I've gone for Amon-Ra based on the fact that we don't know who the Bengals starting quarterback is on Sunday, obviously because Joe Flacco is questionable. He leads all receivers in touchdown catches with 7. He also has a 3rd highest target share of receivers available on Sunday as well. And he's caught a touchdown in 3 of his last 4 games against the Vikings and has gone over 100 yards in 3 of those 4 games as well. He's averaged 23.7 points against the Vikings in the last 4 games as well. So I fancy his chances of making that mark this week. So I've gone for him as the 9th most expensive captain for the week at 7,400. I think Amon-Ra is going to have another classic game, and then if he gets 25 points, that's 50 points, and that's already a third of your way there to winning some money on Fantasy Gameday this week. Right, my quarterback pick for you guys this week is Daniel Jones against the Steelers. I never thought I'd pick this quarterback against this defense heading into the season, but Jones is balling right now, and the Steelers defense is not. Pittsburgh defense has been a good matchup for fantasy quarterbacks so far this season, with quarterbacks scoring the second most points on average against them, second to the Cowboys. So the Steelers defense has been bad against the pass pretty much. Where the Steelers are most weak is in the middle of the field, especially underneath. And they also struggle to bring down pass catchers that they've allowed quite a few yards after catch. That's where the Colts excel, that area of the field. So yeah, give me Jones on Sunday, 7,800, which he's quite pricey. He's fifth most expensive quarterback, but I just love his matchup this week going into Pittsburgh. I'm going for a bit of a bargain pick at running back in Kareem Hunt. He's only 3,000. The Chiefs running back obviously is fresh off that 2-touchdown game against the Commanders on Monday Night Football. And he should see a lot of the ball this week because it sounds like Isaiah Pacheco is likely to miss Sunday's game with an MCL sprain. They're playing Buffalo, of course, and Buffalo's defense has struggled to stop the run this year. So you'd have to imagine that Hunt should find some sort of success. He's not been great this season, but he's going to get a lot of the carries. If he can just average 4 yards per carry, the Bills, he might get 6 or 7 yards on the ground. He probably is going to be in and around the end zone, you'd like to think as well. Running backs have scored 21 points on average against Buffalo this season, which is the 6th worst mark in the NFL, and the 3rd worst of teams that are playing on Sunday. Only the Titans have allowed more rushing touchdowns than the Bills, 2 running backs so far this year. So I do fancy Hunt to find the end zone again on Sunday, which makes him worth a punt as a 31st most expensive running back on Sunday. At receiver, my recommendation for the week is Wanda Robinson of the Giants. I think he's great value at 4,800. I really do, because this guy gets a lot of targets. Of all the receivers that are available in your lineup on the Sunday Stars competition on Sunday, Robinson is just outside the top 10 in terms of target share, which is crazy. I think he is great value as a 24th most expensive receiver. He is a 19th best receiver so far this year in PPR, and he is the 5th in yards after catch too. So I really do fancy him to have a good game against a banged up Niners defense. And then finally, I'm returning to the QB pass catcher stack strategy this week, and I'm going for Tyler Warren as my tight end, with Dallas Goedert on a bye, Trey McBride and Joe McPherson playing each other on Monday Night Football. I think Warren is probably worth the price at £5,000. Obviously, it's a high price, but this season Titans have scored an average 13.1 points against the Steelers defense, and of course the Colts going to Pittsburgh this week. Only the Bengals have been worse against the Titans this season than the Steelers, so on paper Warren should match up well here. And again, as I said earlier, I feel the Colts match up well against the Steelers defense as a whole, because of how good they are underneath. So Warren should get a lot of the ball, and again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Pittsburgh struggle to bring him down. I think he could maybe have 100 yards on a day. So I've gone for him as my tight end pick on Sunday, hoping he can play up to his value as the most expensive tight end. That wraps up my 5 picks for this week's Sunday Stars competition on Fantasy Gameday. My 5 DFS stars for this week are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Daniel Jones, Kareem Hunt, Wandale Robinson, and Tyler Warren. Best of luck if you're playing along, and don't forget new users can still sign up with the code FULL10 to get that free £7.50 game entry on Fantasy Gameday. Just remember to please gamble responsibly, and only if you're 18 or over and based in the UK and Northern Ireland. Awesome, right. Let's move on and finish the podcast by predicting every game this week against the spread. We'll start with Thursday Night Football. We see the return of Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he was meant to be playing last week, and then on Friday night there was a surprise downgrading the status, which is caused a lot of attention. We'll see what happens. To talk about a punishment there with the Ravens, because they might have been lying about his status. We'll see what happens there. So this Thursday Night Football game, the Ravens go into Miami, a 2-6 team against a 2-5 team, but because obviously the Ravens are highly talented, the Dolphins looked really good last week on against the Falcons. This game now, it's between two win teams, but this game should be really, really good. This game was at 12:15, so because the clocks don't go back in America till the weekend, so for us in the UK, it's a nice primetime game that's earlier, an hour earlier than normal, which is really good. It's the last one before the clocks change, and yeah, the Ravens here are 7.5 point favourites going into Miami. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, do we have an update on Tua's eye? Is he playing one eye again?
So his eye's fine, but he's keeping the visor. He said a lot of the players really like the fact that they thought the visor gave him a little bit of pop. So it was his first time playing with a visor. He's now playing his second straight game with a visor. That's something to watch.
I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be cool to see. It's going to be interesting to see how Lamar kind of adjusts and gets back. How healthy is he actually? It seems like they're really taking their time with him. So I imagine he'll be 100% if he's playing tonight. 7.5 points. I think the Dolphins are too inconsistent to bet against. I think the Ravens are still. They've lost a lot of games, obviously, and I don't think many of us thought they'd have this record at this point in the season. But I think with Lamar back, they're a different threat. Dolphins defense though they're just so inconsistent.
I think it's the worst defense, but then you look at the talent on that defense.
Exactly, like sometimes they make plays.
Yeah.
No, I'll back the Ravens to cover the spread. I think.
I'm gonna stick with you. I'm gonna do that too. I think Thursday night games are closer, which is why I am skeptical about that. But I just feel like Lamar, the Dolphins especially, have trouble defending Russian quarterbacks. That they always do, and they've not really had the pass rush issue that they have in previous years. The pressure's not really there, so I feel like Lamar's gonna have a lot of time back there. So give me the Ravens here. Right, so after the clocks change, we're back to a 6 p.m. slate this week. Obviously, it was 5 p.m. last week. This is a huge early slate, all because of the big game in the 9 p.m. slate. So most of the games have been pushed forward to this early slate. I think there's 8 games in the early slate, which is crazy. We'll start in Cincinnati, where the Bengals host the Bears. The interesting one of this game is that Joe Flacco is dealing with an AC sprain, so he is questionable as it stands. It does sound like it is a sort of day-to-day thing, so we'll see what happens. But it doesn't sound good on that aspect. So because of that, the Bears are 3.5 point favourites, despite being really disappointing against the Ravens last week. I mean, with or without Flacco, would you still go Chicago here, or do you? That's a hard one, isn't it?
It's a tough one because I think, like you said, I feel like the Bears really play to the standard of their opponents as well, which makes them very difficult to choose in these kind of things. I'll go with the Bears, but not cover. So I think it's gonna be a close game. I think they'll. I think a lot of it's a weird amount of their games come down to like a field goal. So I think it'll be the same. I think it'll be the same in Cincinnati. I think. Almost regardless of whether it's Joe Flacco or Jake Browning, to be honest, because the Bears, you just never know. Flacco's played well, and I think he's was a decent move. I think for them, there was a move they kind of had to make at quarterback to try and. I mean,
they should be at 500 right now. Obviously, the Jets came back, but they should be at 500 right now.
Exactly. I think I'll go Bears, but not to cover.
Okay, I'll go for the Bears 2 cover.
Nice.
I felt the thing that's scaring me is the fact that all 4 of the Bears' top receivers did not practice this week on Wednesday. That is scaring me. Also, DeAndre Swift did not practice as well. So you're talking 5 of your biggest weapons. But a lot of players don't practice on Wednesday and then will practice on Thursday and Friday. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe I'll change my mind later in the week. I don't know for Chicago. I just feel like the Bengals are the worst team in the league in terms of rushing, but including touchdowns as well. They allow and that's what Ben Johnson wants to do. So if the Bears can find a run game, the Bears win this because the Bengals can't stop the run. Sure. So I'm going to go for Chicago, but I'm not confident on that because of the injury report. Let's just say that. Right, we'll stick in the NFC North, all NFC North tie between the Lions and the Vikings. Obviously, the Lions coming off a bye. They are 5-2. Now, this game is on Channel 5, so this one is free to air in the UK. This will be JJ McCarthy's first start since week 2. He is back. They've confirmed that he's not had any setbacks or anything. He's heading to Detroit again. Really tough place to play. The Lions are 8.5 point favourites coming off a bye. Yeah. Which way are you going here?
8.5 point favourites. How much do I believe in JJ McCarthy coming back?
That's it, isn't it? That's it. He's had 2 really good quarters, and the other 6 were terrible.
Yeah, it's tough. I think division games are always tough to call as well. think the Vikings will be really up for it because this feels like they're approaching a really important part of their season now. I don't know, man. I think Detroit are just going to be very. I think they're going to be really strong. I think they're also going to be up for it. They're going to play at a really high level. I'll go Detroit to cover as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, especially off a bye as well. Like,
Yeah.
I just felt that. Yeah, I would go for the Lions again. It's in their building as well. They've done quite well against the Vikings in recent years as well. I think I'm going to go for the Lions there.
JJ McCarthy back in Michigan though. You never know.
Yeah, well that is the thing. That is the thing. Several Michigan teams on those two players on those two teams as well. So that is a nice little reunion for them after the game. But yeah, no, I'm going for the Lions. I feel they probably are. If not, I think they probably are the best team in the league. Colts second.
They're up there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
they're very complete.
I can't pick against them, especially off a bye. And then final game in the NFC North. The Packers are 5-1-1. They host the 4-4 Carolina Panthers. Again, we don't know what's happening in the quarterback. Could be Andy Dalton, could be Bryce Young, or we'll see. Because of that, the Packers are 13.5-point favourites here. So basically, you're betting on whether the Packers are going to win by 2 scores or not, which is tough, isn't it?
That is tough. That's a huge line. I mean, I was thinking like the Packers are probably going to win pretty comfortably, but are they going to win 2 scores comfortably? I think they could. They genuinely could. I mean, the Packers are phenomenal, right? Like they're really one of those like Super Bowl window teams that you really think can play. I mean, Jordan Love, did he have his best regular season game of his career last week? Maybe, yeah. Like he was exceptional. That pass rush with Micah obviously is now finding its groove and really getting to really disrupting in the other teams. And the Panthers, like, they're winning games. Like they've won games, which has been nice to see, but they got blown out by the Bills last week. Screw it. Yeah, we'll go Packers to cover. I think it's gonna, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But I think I'll go with Green Bay to win pretty comfortably and cover the spread.
Yeah, I'm joining you. The way that the Panthers looked with Andy Dalton last week, yeah, doesn't fill me much confidence. So yeah, I'm going for Green Bay here. Again, I think they are one of the best teams in the league. Right, the next game, really interesting one, between two of the league's best defenses. The Texans host the Broncos. Now this surprised me. The Texans are actually favourite in this game by 1.5 points. That did surprise me. Bearing in mind the Broncos are 6-2, but I imagine a lot of people that are putting the money on this game saw the Texans go to Niners, who again have a really good defense last week, and they played really, really well. Got out to an early lead and then just held off the Niners last week. Yeah, I mean the Texans, the Texans' offensive line going up against the Broncos pass rush, which again leads the league in sacks. That is an interesting angle, but again, like the Texans' defense doesn't allow many points. Expect this one to be a close one, which is why it's a 1.5 point spread. It's a pick 'em that way. Which way are you going here, Houston or Denver?
I feel like Denver just keep finding a way to win these kinds of games. Like obviously there is a world, and it could be this one where Houston wins on Sunday. I think their defense is phenomenal. They're playing really well, like we've talked about in this episode. But yeah, I think Denver they keep grinding these wins out. Even when they don't necessarily play particularly well, they'll find a way to get the win. Like, you know, they beat the Jets in that close game where their offense was really poor, or at least struggled against the Jets defense. And then they did that crazy comeback against the Giants. So I think the Broncos have had it of winning these really tight games, which I imagine is what it will be on Sunday. So I think I'll take Denver.
I'll go the other way then. I love this Texans defense so much, and they've the offense has let me down. I'm a little bit bored by what I saw last week from the Texans offense. So let's hope they can carry that on. I'm going to go for Houston, but again, I'm not confident about that. So, again, being in Houston helps as well. If it was in Denver, I'd probably pick Denver.
For sure, yeah. It's a toss up really. So
yeah. Right, we're going to your Patriots now. They host the Falcons, so no one knows what they are. Again, a couple really bad losses after beating the Bills a couple of weeks ago. So they now sit at 3-4. The Patriots sit at 6-2. They are 5.5 point favourites over the Falcons, who might have Michael Penix and Drake London back. We don't know. They were both limited in practice on Wednesday, which is normally a good sign. If they're limited on Wednesday, it means they probably will play. But yeah, 5.5 points for the Patriots is one of their biggest spreads of the season, the bookies are getting quite confident on New England.
Yeah, I think I imagine. Well, I think the Patriots will win the game. I think just the schedule's really lined up quite nicely, and that win over Buffalo has really kind of amplified the season tremendously. 5.5 points. Is that, will they win by a touchdown? Yeah. Screw it. Yeah, I think it'll be. I think the way they're playing, I think they're playing at such a. The offense is really cool. Like there was so much talk, I think, going into the year about the receivers and what moves the Patriots need to make to the receiving core. But like you're seeing these guys make plays now. Now it looks like Drake May has this young core around him where they kind of all grow.
Keishon Boots is a stud,
yeah, exactly.
Stephon Diggs is playing really well. Hunter Henry is a guy who really likes going to.
Hunter Henry is the best Patriots player of the post Brady era. I stand on that for sure. But he's look, I think they have a good offense and they're clicking right. I mean, it all comes down to the quarterback play, and I don't think anyone really expected at the start of the year for Drake May to have his MVP season or in that conversation in season 2. So yeah, just great stuff, Patriots. I think Atlanta's again like kind of similar to Miami, right? Like, in terms of like you don't know what you're going to get. I think if it's Kirk Cousins on the weekend, that could be bad for them. Yeah, I think.
He looks terrible since the Achilles. Like last year, he looked terrible. Then on Sunday he looked terrible. Like I just feel like he's the Achilles at 35, 36 years old. That's kind of killed him. I'm afraid, but the thing to watch is that the Falcons have one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. So obviously, it's a pretty big test for Drake May here. Again, if he has a good game here, then again, this is just another. It elevates your MVP conversation there.
and it's funny because like I feel like against the Browns last week, right? Like he didn't have a bad first half. Like his first half was fine, but like he had a few mistakes here and there. But then the second half, he just locked in and he kind of like realized that he figured out how to beat them. I think this weekend might be similar. I think we'll see maybe a tighter first half, and then maybe it's my Patriots bias coming through a little bit, but I would expect them to pull away a little bit based on what we've seen in recent weeks. I'd expect them to pull away a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, I'll go New England too. Just on, we don't know who's going to start quarterback with the Falcons.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for New England too here. Right. Well, weird one. The Niners have a home game in the early window, which is very odd. I just want to check that because maybe I've written it down wrong because that is very odd. But yeah, so the Niners are 2.5 point favourites over the Giants. It is in New York. Yeah, that's me being stupid there. Right. Yeah, there we go. So the Giants host the Niners. The obviously cross country early window, same sort of premise really. The Niners go into New York. They're 2.5 point favourites here. Obviously the big question is Brock Purdy going to play? Is Ricky Pearsall going to play? It sounds like they're still up in the air, especially Purdy. They're in no rush, obviously, of how Matt Jones has been playing. Obviously, the Giants' defense hasn't been what we thought it would be there either. And the Giants have lost their best offensive player, you could probably say, in Cam Scatterby as well. So it's not looking great for them, which is why the Niners are still favourites, 2.5 points. But we don't know who's going to be starting at quarterback. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I'll go 49ers to cover. I think this screams of Mac Jones and they win by 2 field goals or something. Mac Jones has done really well. I think he's played as one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league this year. Certainly steadied the ship and kept the 49ers ticking over. I think the Giants losing Scatterby, as well as he was playing on the field, I feel like he really added an energy to the franchise and really even though they were not necessarily winning all their games, they felt rejuvenated. And now that's kind of just been, I guess the energy's been literally sucked out of them. So it's tough. It's brutal for the Giants who've already lost Malik Neighbors. But look, this season, I guess you just keep riding with Jackson Dart, see how he does, and go again 2026 with kind of a fun offense as what it's shaping up to be with Neighbors and Scatterby back. But yeah, I think Sunday, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers give me, I think they win. They'll figure out a way to win that game and cover.
Yeah, I'll join you. I will join you. I'm not confident because the Niners defense you're starting to see, like last week, you're starting to see that they're missing Nick Bosa, they're missing Fred Warner. Yeah. So, but I just felt that they are still the better. They still have the better roster than the Giants, so I'm going to pick them here. This game is also available to watch on Sky Sports Plus as well as NFL Game Pass on the Zone. The main game on Sky this week sees the 7-1 Colts go to Pittsburgh to play Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. The Colts are 3.5-point favorites going to Pittsburgh. This one should be fun, man. This is the game of the early window. I think this is the only game between two teams with winning records in the early window. It is, so obviously, it makes sense to. It could be a potential AFC playoff matchup. Steelers need a win, don't they? Especially after, they've got the couple game lead over the Bengals now, but with the Ravens getting Lamar back, the Steelers need probably 4 or 5 more wins just to make sure they've got a playoff berth, because those teams are coming. Obviously, Burrow's coming back, Lamar's back. Hosting the Colts, the Colts are good, man. And again, with the way the Steelers' defense has been, you'd probably say the Colts are the better of both lines of scrimmage, which should make this one very interesting.
Yeah, 3.5 points. I think that makes me want to lean Indianapolis to cover, to be honest. I think they've kind of just, it's funny, I keep thinking like each week that they're going to be like, when's the banana skin game going to come, where they kind of, slip up and then kind of revert to the normal way. They just keep just destroying teams, and not even just winning tight games. Like, I mean, obviously they did that against the Broncos and stuff like that, but like they also just destroy teams. So I think it'll be interesting. I feel like with the Steelers, like kind of what you're saying, and needing to get, it's kind of like that meme where, it's like like a driver driving the car, and they're looking in the mirror, and it's like objects appear closer than they appear. I think that could potentially be the Ravens if the Steelers keep losing games and Lamar and the Ravens hit the ground running. And the Steelers, they won some tight games early on, got over the line against the Jets and the Patriots, and now they're starting to slip up a little bit. I don't know. Tough one, but I think I'll go Colts to cover, to be honest. I think they're just Steelers defense will always be decent, and they're pretty high paid unit in terms of the NFL this year. But I think, man, I'll go with the Colts. No, I'm not going to go against that historic unit at the moment. I think they're playing at such an elite level, and I think they'll get it done on Sunday.
I'm going to go for the Colts too, because the Steelers cannot bring guys down in the middle of the field. And where do the Colts cook the most? Obviously with the underneath stuff with Tyler Warren, and then you got Michael Pittman coming inside. That's been a really successful play for them this year. Like, I feel like, we saw Tucker Kraft. Once the guy's there open in the middle of the field, they just could not bring him down on Sunday Night Football last week, and it's been the same with the Steelers all year, really. That defense is the highest paid defense in the NFL. It's not played to its standard. Who'd have thought that the Steelers' most reliable thing on offense would be Aaron Rodgers or DK Metcalf in the team? Who would have thought that the offense is reliable now? But I'm going to go for the Colts just because of that. I just felt they match up really well against the Steelers. So yeah, screw it. I wouldn't. 8-1 Indianapolis. They're going to cover the 3.5 point spread. Wow, that sounds crazy. And then the last game of the 6 p.m. slate sees the 5-3 Chargers head to Tennessee. The 1-7 Titans, obviously their interim coach Mike McCoy. The Chargers are 9.5 point favorites here. Big spread, especially on a road team, West Coast early window. But I mean, the Chargers are really good on Thursday night. They've got a mini bye as well. I'm going to pick them here because the Titans are just terrible.
Yeah, I think that's the right play. I think Joe Old's back as well. Potentially,
he came back last week. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so they'll have the offense will be back. Kind of looking maybe early season form. So yeah, I think you have to go. Chargers here. I think they'll kind of coast to victory. I mean, Lad McConkey, man, what an unbelievable receiver he is. He's so good for Justin Herbert, and I think the Chargers will. Yeah, I can't imagine them having too many issues against the Titans.
Yeah, shout out to Rondé Gadsden as well, the rookie tight end. He's a great couple games. He was a star on Thursday night last week, and the Titans defense, they're two of their best players, L'Jarius Sneed and and Jeffrey Simmons are both banged up. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give me the Chargers here. Give me the Chargers here. Right, 9 p.m. slate now. The first one sees the Rams host the Saints. The Rams coming off a bye. Obviously, before their bye, they smashed the Jags in London. The Rams are 14.5-point favourites here. This is the biggest spread of the week. The Saints obviously starting Tyler Shuck for the first time. He's Spencer Rattler's being benched, perhaps quite unfairly. I think he's not really been the issue there, but obviously they spent a second round pick on Shuck. They've got to see what he's like. Tough game for him going up against one of the best defenses in the NFL. In the Rams, 14.5 points. Wow.
It's a lot. I think the Rams will win comfortably, but comfortably for me is like 10 points, right? Like it's not. I don't know if it's 2 scores. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see how Tyler Shuck does. Like you said, I don't think Spencer Rattler was the problem, but they have to just see, and they're losing games. They might as well give it a go, and then I guess whatever happens, they can play Spencer or whatever. They kind of know what they've got with him. He was actually playing pretty good ball, to be honest. I didn't think he was the issue at all. I think it's gonna be tough. I think 14.5 points. So I think things, because the Rams don't really blow teams out is what I'm thinking. It's not really like they win. They obviously win like fairly comfortably against bad teams, but they don't. I don't know if they blow teams out. I think it's gonna be tough though. That Rams defense is good. I'll go Rams, but not to cover. I think 14.5 is
okay.
a lot.
I'll
I think
go
it'll be close.
Yeah, I'll go for the Rams to cover it.
Yeah,
especially for bye as well. I just feel like Sean McVay will have something cooking, and maybe picking Nico's back. He's questionable. If he's back, especially, even without in the Rams, I think we'll win this one comfortably. But give me LA here. The next game is the sort of blackout game on Sky. They've had a deal where the Bills Chiefs game will also be on Game Pass as well, which is really good. So everyone can watch it pretty much. It's also on 5 Actions, so it's free to air in the UK as well. Makes sense because everyone wants to watch Bills Chiefs as well. So the game that's only on Sky this week, it sees the Jags go to the Raiders. Both teams coming off a bye. Jags obviously coming off that brutal loss to the Rams in London. They are 3.5-point favourites going to Vegas. So again, they've had a horrible season. How do you see this one going?
What was the line? 3.5.
3.5 points. Yeah.
I'll go Jags to win by field goal. I don't know if they'll cover necessarily. I think this feels like the type of game where the Raiders could snatch a win. Because I just don't know. Like the Jags, I don't know if I don't know if I'm a Jags believer yet. But I think I'll go with the Jags. I'll go with the Jags to not cover, but probably get the win.
I don't know if the Jags simply just because they're a better team. To cover, but I'm not confident on that one either because I don't really know what they truly are. And the Raiders, like they have the players that they could spring a win.
Exactly, but they
before
also
they're by, they're terrible against the Chiefs. Yeah, so give me the Jags, and then the big one, the Chiefs Bills game, 5-3 Chiefs against the 5-2 Bills. It's in Buffalo. Obviously, it's a main game on Sky. You can watch it on DAZN. You can watch it on 5 Action, as I said. The Chiefs favourites going to Buffalo. Chiefs favored by 2.5 points. This one should be a fun one. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, tough. I subscribe to the opinion that when Patrick Mahomes is playing well, you don't bet against him. So I think I have to go Chiefs to cover. But again, like it's a bit of a toss up. But I think Buffalo have shown some weaknesses. I think this year that the secondary looks like it's there to be got at, which we think will be exciting for the Chiefs offense, especially as they're kind of coming into form and getting all these guys back. Yeah, I think I have to go Chiefs on that one.
Yeah, me too. I just thought they match up really well against the Bills. That defense, I'm not confident in whatsoever at the minute. They'll probably be a team that will try and make a move before Tuesday's trade deadline. We expect. And then the Sunday Night Football game sees the 5-2 Seahawks coming off a bye, going to Washington. A bit of news. Sounds like Jaden Daniels is in line to play. So that is a big bit of news. Obviously missing only 1 week. But Terry McLaurin is out. So that's obviously getting your quarterback back, but you're losing your number one receiver there. But Deebo Samuel looked really good on Monday night against the Chiefs, which is good for them. Yeah, the Seahawks going to Washington's obviously going cross country are 3.5 point favourites in this one. How do you see this one going?
I think Seattle will win and cover. I think even if Jaden Daniels plays, to be honest, I think the Seahawks just look really good. And I think the Washington, I don't know. I think maybe questions are not necessarily questions being asked, but I think almost the expectations of last year is maybe weighing them down a little bit. I don't know if it's a sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels or whether it's just a whole team. I guess struggling to get back to that level. I think I like, and Seattle just look like honestly one of the quietly best teams in the league. So I think I'll go Seattle to win and cover that for sure.
Yeah, when we were doing our power rankings last week, I was the highest on Seattle. I have them at 5th because they're one of the teams that are solid, like really good on both offense and defense. This offense is one of the best offense. Obviously, Smith-Njigba's stats are incredible. Sam Donald's stats are incredible. They can run the football as well. Washington are one of the worst defenses in the league so far. So I love Seattle here, especially for bye as well. Like that really does gives me a lot of confidence. So give me Seattle here. And then Monday Night Football sees the Dallas Cowboys host the Arizona Cardinals. Again, the Cardinals are off a bye. They're going to Dallas here. The Cowboys are 2.5 point favourites. And the interesting one for this one is that Kyler Murray will be back for this game. By the sounds of things, which is good for Arizona, or is it? Because Jacoby Brissett's look better than Kyler Murray so far this year. Because of that, the Cowboys are 2.5 point favourites. Two teams that can score points. So I don't think this will be a shootout. It's just which defense really is better here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. For sure. I think there's going to be the opportunity for points to be put on the board. Like, man, Jacoby Brissett's been playing well recently, so yeah, I don't know how much of an upgrade it will be to have Kyler. I think Dallas will win and cover. I think that offense has just been remarkably good. Brian Schottenheimer got a lot of stick, I guess, when they hired him, but and you trade the best defensive player on the team on the eve of the season is always going to hamper you, no matter how you slice it or look at it. But Dak Prescott is playing at a really high level. And George Pickens has been fantastic. CeeDee Lamb came back. So that offense, Javonte Williams has added actually a run game for the first time in a few seasons. I think I like Dallas to cover that. Pretty handily, I think.
Yeah, the thing I like about Brian Schottenheimer as well is the size of his play sheet because it's like double-sided, so it literally covers the entirety of his face as well, which I think is quite cool. His offense has been incredible. And I just feel like it's the best unit of the four, so I'm gonna back it to get the win here and to win by 3 points. The 4 teams on a bye are the Browns, the Jets, the Eagles, and the Bucks. And that's it for the podcast this week. A big thanks for joining me, Andrew. It's been great having you on as always. Can you let everyone know where they can find your work?
Absolutely, yeah. You can hit me on X where at Andrew_Gamble, and then of course themirrorus.com is kind of where you'll get all my NFL kind of reports and takes. So yeah, check that out.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on again, mate. It was great to have you on.
Thank you.
That's all for this week. I'll see you all next week where we're going through the latest international game of the international series, looking ahead to that one. We'll also have all the reaction from the trade deadline and obviously look ahead to week 10. That's all for now. I've been Sam Moores. It's been the Full 10 Yards NFL podcast, and I will see you next time.